A lot of people say in my videos every day, we are sick to death of Harry and Meghan. And I get it. I do understand it. But you say you're sick to death of it. But I want to point this out. If you're sick to death of it, do not watch it. Because YouTubers will jump on this. If I do a daily rant and I talk about the Prime Minister, I talk about veterans, I talk about what's happening in Spain, I talk about Ukraine, you, the viewer, I would only get 5,000 views. Now think about other YouTubers that talk non-stop about Harry and Meghan. There's channels out there that are dedicated, Meghan, 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 Meghan. You say you're sick of it. But that channel gets 100,000 subscribers, 150,000 subscribers, 170,000 subscribers, 180,000 subscribers, 200,000 subscribers, right? But you say you're sick of it. Their videos are getting 50,000, 60, 70, 80, 150,000 views. But you're saying you're sick of it. Now, I've proven this. I've done a little thing. That whenever I talk about Harry, I'll get 30,000 views. When I talk about Meghan, I'll get 50,000 views. When I talk about Prince William, I'll get 15,000 views. So the truth of the matter is, everyone, is that you say you're sick of it, but you're not. You're not sick of it. You want to hear the shit. The nastier the video, the more views it gets. The more clickbait it is, then the more views it gets. Someone has just said there at H&M said they do sell. Thank you, Sue. We all want to see them fail. It sounds awful, but we do. We're all waiting for them to get tripped up. We're waiting for King Charles to cut him off. We're waiting for the divorce. We're waiting for her to be caught out bullying. We're sitting at the edge of our seats waiting for this news to happen. So that's why YouTubers talk about them. See, the minute we talk about them and we get no views, you will see them disappear off social media. I'm just pointing out a fact.
Fire C News, unfiltered, unapologetic, and exposing the truth. Fire, welcome to C News, where we cut through the noise, call out the hypocrisy, and bring you the stories others are too afraid to touch. If you're tired of the same recycled narratives, the same tired faces spewing the same toxic nonsense, then you're in the right place. Let's talk about the media's relentless obsession with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. For years, a select group of so-called journalists have built their entire careers on trashing the Sussexes, turning personal vendettas into full-blown public harassment. But one man has had enough, and he's not afraid to name names. Trevor Coult just dropped a truth bomb, and it's sending shockwaves through the industry. He's calling out the biggest instigators of the hate train, Piers Morgan, Dan Wootton, and Phillip Schofield. Three men who have made it their mission to tear down Harry and Meghan at every turn. Why? For ratings, for clicks, for their own twisted sense of self-importance. Let's be real, this isn't journalism. This is bullying disguised as reporting. And yet, they get away with it, day after day, while the world watches in silence. Not anymore. At C News, we bring you the stories behind the headlines, the narratives they don't want you to hear. We call out the hypocrisy, expose the double standards, and challenge the so-called media elites who think they can manipulate public opinion without consequence. If you're tired of biased coverage, if you see through the smear campaigns, if you demand accountability from those who profit off tearing people down, then hit that subscribe button right now. Join the revolution. Join C News. Because the truth deserves to be heard. Trevor Coult has had enough. For years, he's watched the relentless attacks on the Sussexes, the constant barrage of hate that seems to be propelled by a small group of media figures who have made it their mission to tear apart everything Harry and Meghan do. But now, Trevor, known for his no-nonsense approach to the media circus, is calling out the biggest names fueling this hate train, Piers Morgan, Dan Wootton, and Phillip Schofield. In a fiery rant that left no room for subtlety, Coult slammed these three men for their role in perpetuating negativity towards the Duke and Duchess. His anger was palpable, and he didn't mince words. Let's be clear here, he began. The media circus around the Sussexes isn't about reporting, it's about inciting hatred. And the three biggest offenders, Piers Morgan, Dan Wootton, and Phillip Schofield, have done more to fuel this than anyone else. Coult's main target was Piers Morgan, the loudest and most outspoken critic of the Sussexes. Piers Morgan, for all his bluster and self-righteousness, is the worst kind of hypocrite, Trevor shot back, his voice rising with frustration. The man has been obsessed with Meghan for years. He's made an entire career out of ripping apart this couple. It's one thing to have an opinion, but to make it personal, that's something else entirely. He didn't stop there. Morgan's entire shtick is pretending to be above it all, pretending to be the voice of reason while he's slamming the very people he claims to care about. He's nothing more than a tabloid villain, hiding behind his so-called journalistic integrity, when all he's doing is stirring the pot for views. But Trevor didn't leave Wootton and Schofield off the hook. In fact, his commentary on the two was just as scathing. Dan Wootton is just a gossip columnist who's turned his disdain for the Sussexes into a full-time career, Coult continued. It's as if he's trying to outdo Piers in who can sink the lowest. He'll do anything for a headline, even if it means completely misrepresenting the truth. Then, there was Phillip Schofield, someone Trevor had always believed was above the tabloids but had recently become embroiled in the media circus. Phillip Schofield had always been seen as the charming face of British television, Trevor remarked, shaking his head. But now he's part of the same hate train. He's not some innocent bystander. He's one of the ones who gleefully fuels the fire with his snide comments, his insinuations. It's disappointing. Trevor's remarks sent shockwaves through the media, but he wasn't done. He pivoted to talk about the broader issue, the way these three men, in particular, had helped normalize public hate toward the Sussexes. It's one thing to have differing opinions about Harry and Meghan's decisions. We all have opinions, but these guys have made it their mission to turn personal choices into public ridicule, turning them into the punching bags of the media. And that's not just irresponsible, it's downright dangerous. Trevor pointed to the growing mental health toll that these sustained attacks were having on the couple, who had already spoken out about the strain the media circus had put on their well-being. At the end of the day, we're talking about human beings, Trevor said, his tone softening for a brief moment. Harry and Meghan are not your personal entertainment. The damage being done to their mental health, to their lives, is something none of these men will ever have to face. But they keep at it, day after day. For clicks, for views, for that sweet drama, and while he had plenty of sharp words for the men in question, Trevor's broader message wasn't just about attacking individuals. He was making a stand for a more responsible, less toxic form of media consumption. It's time we all start questioning the culture these men have helped create. If we keep allowing this kind of rhetoric to go unchecked, we're all complicit. The media personalities targeted by Trevor have yet to respond to his comments, but it's clear that his statement has sparked a larger conversation about the ethics of media coverage, especially when it comes to public figures like Harry and Meghan. For many, Trevor's remarks were a much-needed wake-up call, reminding everyone that the line between opinion and harassment has long since been crossed. Whether or not those at the top of the hate train will ever acknowledge their role remains to be seen, but one thing is clear, Trevor Coult isn't backing down.